Hello and welcome to Goulburn, New South Wales, Australia's first inland city and home to the country's newest motorsport facility, One Raceway. This circuit has been 2 years in the making, and the 6th round of the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motul is the first ever event, with the official opening ceremony taking place yesterday. Circuit owners, the Shelley brothers, were joined on track by a host of local dignitaries and businesses who have contributed to the rejuvenation of this important pillar of the local economy. Congratulations to all involved. Now it's time to sit back and enjoy the racing. Now it's time to have a more in-depth look at the brand new One Raceway with the 2009 World Endurance Champion Steve Martin and 2003 World Supersport Champion Chris Vermeulen.
It's always good to come to a new circuit, Chris, and the One Raceway is radically different to last time we were here.
Oh, it's sensational, Steve. Like you say, it is great to come to a new track. This is, this circuit has been here for a while, but it's been highly modified, and the work that's gone into this place, you can see it's fantastic. The Shelley brothers and all their crew, what they've done to bring it to this standard is great to see, and I know it's going to be a challenge for the riders because the layout has changed a little bit, so that's going to make it exciting for us.
The circuit's a lot wider. There's new asphalt. I reckon we should take a look at some of the key points of this track.
Let's go.
Turn 1, take no prisoners, harden your mouth stuff heading into Pirelli corner.
Oh, it is, Steve. You touched on it earlier. The track is wider as well. So the approach, the guys have got more speed, a different line coming in there. It's serious. And these 3 corners like Pirelli and into the double Motul turns here, it's a long, long time on the right-hand side of the tyre.
To me, it's almost one of the longest corners in Australia that you're going to be on that right-hand side.
Well, you see it here. It's 3 apexes, but it is, like you say, it's pretty much one corner and how the guys are going to approach it. I reckon there's a passing opportunity in the middle too if you get a little bit wrong, but more importantly, the left-hand side of the tyre gets cold when you head into turn 4 up here, so that's going to be a tricky one as well.
It's a long time between lefts at this track, so you're absolutely right. We're going to have to keep an eye on the Allstars corner. One of the key overtaking points at this track is down the hill into Ducati corner.
It is, Steve. It's tricky. It's downhill. It's one of the slowest parts of the circuit as well. But I think what's crucial is building the speed on the side of the tyre through here. It's like a double apex, this Ducati turn, and it's very difficult to get it right for the change of direction into Michelin up there.
Physicality and precision, the key here.
Definitely.
We've raced at a lot of tracks around the world, Chris, and I just don't recall anywhere like this stadium section.
I mean, it is very cool, Steve, when you look at it and what's going on here, the change of direction coming in and out, the camber, the angle, the dip, the banking downhill. There's a lot to go on, a lot to get wrong and a lot to get right in a motorcycle.
And it's definitely going to be an exciting place on the last lap of the races.
Well, it is, isn't it? It's all important to get to the finish line first, and that change of direction and the drive out of here is going to be crucial.
Absolutely, Chris. One Raceway, it is great. And that is your Ducati track preview for this round.
And welcome back to One Raceway. We're getting ready for the next race on today's program, and that is the 3rd and final race for the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup. We've seen some very close racing so far this weekend, but the man that has come out on top on both occasions is Hunter Corney on board bike number 40. We get ready to go racing for the 3rd time for Blue Crew Junior Cup. Blue Crew Junior Cup is go. Lots of bikes going skyward rather than forward there, Steve, as they made their launch off the line. As they make their way down towards Pirelli corner turn 1, it is that man once again, Hunter Corney, and a man that you've had your eye on lately, Ethan Johnson on board bike number 31, who slots up into 2nd.
Yeah, great start there by Hunter Corney and Ethan Johnson. Brilliant start off that front row of the grid there as they head into the Allstars corner for the first time and up around Honda. It's really important to keep the slipstream and try and keep up with Hunter Corney because he's had something just a little bit special, hasn't he, compared to the others this weekend?
Well, the other thing is that Ethan Johnson qualified back on the 2nd row of the grid, and he's got great starts in all of the races so far to put himself well and truly in contention early on in the races. So he's been doing a very good job as well. Connor Lewis on board bike number 77 is up there into 3rd position, and also Phoenix O'Brien, who actually qualified in 2nd, is currently running around in 4th position on board bike number 85. So as we make our way down towards the Yamaha Revs Your Heart bowl section of the circuit for the first time, it is Corny with a very shallow lead over Ethan Johnson in second, Colin Lewis in third.
Good to see Nicholas Lazos out there as well. He had an off earlier on today, so good to see him recovering from that and back out there. Jai Strugnell as well in that top 10 in 8th position, the number 99 machine there. But it is Ethan Johnson who takes the lead. He must be listening to my talks on the plane.
You think it's strange that he always seems to be sitting next to you on the plane on the way home from meetings these days, Steve, but he said he doesn't mind a bit of a chat, but obviously you've been passing on some advice too, because he's had a great weekend here this weekend.
Well, he told me some advice. He actually said that if you mention my name on TV, I'll give you $1. So we're up to about 10 now.
So down the hill we come with Ethan Johnson claiming another $1 from Steve Martin in the lead, but now Hunter Corney fights back immediately on board bike number 40. Look at Lewis on board bike number 77, looking very aggressive at the bottom of the hill there as well. Of course, all of these riders coming under the coaching guidance of multiple Grand Prix winner in both 500cc and 125, Gary McCoy. And Gary's been doing a great job with this young riding academy all year. And these riders, some of them have come on really well towards the second half of the year. And of course, they will be in action in only a couple of weeks' time at their next round of the championship, which is in front of a massive crowd at the Australian Grand Prix at Phillip Island, and in front of all the world team managers as well.
Yeah, I mean, Phoenix O'Brien and Connor Lewis are two of the guys that have improved out of sight this year. They really have come from nowhere, and now look at them, they're right up there.
Well, Connor Lewis hasn't come from nowhere. He's taken the race lead now. He's come from third position, using the slipstream to absolute perfection down there on the straight. And Phoenix O'Brien fighting back as well. He was back as far as about 6th position after qualifying on the front row of the grid. But Lewis doing very, very well. Also keep your eye on bike number 16, Rossi McAdam. He's made his way up into a 4th position as well. You can see him there with the white helmet and the bright knee sliders on board his Recondi leathers.
Hunter Charlotte, Nicholas Lazos are about a second behind this group, but that gap looks like it's closing. How close is that, Phil, through the Ducati corner?
That move from Hunter Corney, I see it and I still don't believe it. He went very late and deep on the brakes, out wide. A couple of people tried to outbrake him, then he just cut straight back to the inside and drove straight up the inside of all of those riders, going from 3rd to 1st in the space of one corner. That's completely outrageous how he was able to just do that and do it so cleanly. Here we go. Here's a Ducati replay of it. You can see Corney out there on the outside, stops and turns the thing straight up the inside of Lewis and who was that? McAdam.
It almost looked like all of them, didn't it? It was an incredible move by Hunter Corney, but he hasn't broken away because it's Rossi McAdam now in the slipstream. But he can't outbrake the number 40, Hunter Corney, into the motor corner.
Well, Rossi McAdam's going the alternate coloured knee sliders as well. Certainly very easy to pick out on track, as is Oscar Lewis with his red helmet. Still sitting back there in 3rd position on board bike number 77. And it's Ethan Johnson in 4th, Phoenix O'Brien in 5th. Lazos is up to 6th position. He's moved forward a couple of positions over the last few races. And it's Hunter Charlotte, Jai Strugnell, Jed Louie and Elijah Andrew rounding out the top 10.
Well, the top 7 guys are all pretty much doing the same lap time. They're all in the 16s, and you can see that group is like closing up. Hunter Corney, every time he gets out the front, he tries to stretch it out a bit, and it looks like he is starting to stretch it out. He's got about half a second gap there over Rossi McAdam and Connor Lewis. Yeah,
Hunter Charlotte's the last rider in that lead group of 7. Gap's just opened up a little bit on this last lap. It'll be interesting to see what lap time Hunter Corney's been able to do as he comes across the line. Can he dip into the 15s on this lap? He does a 15.114. In fact, most of them are all into the 15s, but they're mid-15s. That's where that little lead has come from for Hunter Corney. About 0.4 of a second faster than pretty much everybody else on track.
That is a new lap record, by the way, Phil. 15.1, 15.34, funnily enough, was Hunter Corney's previous lap record set earlier today.
Well, certainly in very blustery conditions, to improve on yesterday's times is a mark of how far these riders are coming along, and also how far the track condition is coming along as well. Every time there's a race out there putting more rubber down, the track is getting faster and faster and more grippy. Down the bottom of the hill, it is Johnson up the inside on board bike number 31. A good move there.
Yeah, good move by Ethan there to just slip past Rossi McAdam as they head into that Michelin corner. takes that inside line. McAdam tries to go around the outside, but he can't do it there. Gets that slipstream, perhaps. He can do it through the kink on the straight, if not, into the bowl.
Yeah, Phoenix O'Brien was looking very good there for a lap or so as well, but it's just dropped off the back of them a fraction now in 5th position, bike number 85. See, there's our leader coming across the line. A 1:15.1 on the last lap. What's he been able to do this time? A 1:15.9.
Nicholas Lazos has brought himself right back into this too. He's onto the back of that group now. Obviously, Hunter Corney's up the road by 1.4 seconds now. He's you can just see the gap that he's got there. He's gone. But Nicholas Lazos is bringing himself back into the fight, at least for a podium.
Yeah, he was about half a second faster on the last lap than anybody on track was Hunter Corney. This is an entertaining battle now, though, between Ethan Johnson, Connor Lewis and Rossi McAdam.
Around the outside goes McAdam, keeps that corner speed up, and he's right next to Connor Lewis.
And perfectly positioned to have a run down the brakes, or run down the inside on the brakes. That was Adam Jordan just pulling aside. He was at the tail end of the field, just getting lapped by the lead group of riders now. So that was good work from Adam Jordan just to pull aside and let everyone get through. Nice and cleanly. Has great run there from Connor Lewis on board bike number 77 up the inside to take up the running now in 2nd position, getting the better of Ethan Johnson. Rossi McAdam still holding down 4th position, closing in a little bit from behind on this lap has been Phoenix O'Brien. There you go, out onto the start-finish. Oh, there was the final lap. So a checkered flag there for Hunter Corney. In the end, 2.3 seconds was the race win. Connor Lewis, that last lap move, got him up to 2nd position, just ahead of Ethan Johnson. That race just seemed to disappear so quickly, Steve.
That's the thing about this race circuit. It's so exciting that there's overtaking happening everywhere. You lose time. I don't know how, but it was a pretty exciting race.
Well, Hunter Corney, his last lap was a 15.199. So that resulted in him taking the win by 2.3 seconds over Connor Lewis. Ethan Johnson in 3rd position rounds out your podium. Rossi McAdam in 4th, Phoenix O'Brien in 5th, Lazos in 6th, Charlotte in 7th, Struggle in 8th, Louis in 9, and Elijah Andrew rounds out your top 10.
Zane Beckenstahl is 11th, Henry Hind in 12th, Ethan Pelgrave in that 13th spot, Augustus O'Halloran 14th, Zach Russo in 15th, 16th is Adam Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan doing a great job there to just get out of the way on the last lap to allow our leaders through and continue their fight for those podium positions. Let's have a look now at the AMMF highlights of the 3rd and final race for the Blue Crew Junior Cup here this weekend. And once again, it was a great start from Hunter Corney. But as we've seen so far this weekend, rider on board bike number 31, Ethan Johnson, starting from the 2nd row of the grid, was able to get very well placed on the early stages of the race, which put him well and truly in the battle for the podium. That move from Hunter Corney at about half race distance, I still don't believe it, even though I've seen it now 3 times.
A bit of a shake of the head there from him too. I don't know if he could believe it either, but he was way up the road. Battles all throughout the field. Ethan Johnson, Rossi McAdam and Connor Lewis, they were going at it throughout the whole race, battling for position.
You can see there Adam Jordan doing a good job to get out of the way and allow these riders to continue that battle for that podium positions. It was Johnson that led them as they came out of Michelin Corner, but that move from Connor Lewis resulted in him getting into Yamaha Revshahat Corner in 2nd position, a position that he held all the way to the flag, eventually holding off Johnson by about a 1/10 of a second as they came across the line, with Rossi McAdam close behind in 4th position. Now, championship points at the end of the round sees Hunter Corney on 280 points, a commanding championship lead ahead of Ethan Johnson on 219, Lazos 3rd on 183, Charlotte 4th on 172, and Elijah Andrew rounds out your top 5 on 160. Of course, the next time these riders will be in action, 2 weeks' time at MotoGP at Phillip Island. You can see the amount of earthwork that's been going on at this venue. And great credit to all of the people that have been doing that work. Plenty more action coming up here from One Raceway after this break. Well, it And it's time for Supersport 300, where we will see these two men out there racing, Calvin Moylan and Casey Middleton, both part of the Race DNA team. They've had a very successful weekend so far this weekend. They'll be looking to continue that form through to the third and final race of the weekend for the Supersport 300 category. And once again, thank you to Race and Road for their support of this championship in 2024. Valentino Knežević will be starting from pole position. Jordy Simpson and Will Nassif will join him on the front row of the grid, with Casey Middleton, Josh Newman and Calvin Moylan, the Race DNA men, back there on row 2 with our championship leader Josh Newman sandwiched between them.
Row 3, I don't think we'll see Ko Watson there, but Jesse Stroud, Harrison Watts in 8th and 9th. Row 4 will be Will Hunt, Tara Morrison and John Pelgrave. Your row 5's Tom Nicholson and Oliver Short, Hudson Air, and 16, 17 and 18th is Mark Shaw, Oscar Lewis and Tian Zhao.
Now also too, big shout out to Will Hunt, who's having the best weekend that we've seen him on a Supersport 300 machine.
Absolutely.
As well, so hopefully he can continue on his performances. His bike is also very easy to pick out. As we get ready to go racing, Supersport 300 is go. Looked like a pretty good start there from Josh Newman, and also I think it was Casey Middleton on board bike number 20. Moylan, I think, went backwards a little bit. Here comes Will Hunt as well. He's got another great start, as well as the rider on board bike number 46. But it's Newman from the second row of the grid, up into the lead through the Motul corners. The championship leader has made his intentions quite clear from the outset.
Yeah, take no prisoners there. He got straight past Jordy Simpson, knocked him off track a little bit, but you know what? He knew that he couldn't afford to do what he did earlier today, which was sit back in the pack a bit. So he was desperate, made it to the front. This race is going to be a lot easier for him.
Well, big moment there coming through Alpine Stars for Oliver Short, who was lucky to keep bike number 7, the white entry, completely upright. I think it may have balked his mate Tom Nicholson right behind him too, had to get out of the throttle a little bit, but it is Newman that leads from Will Nassif, who's been an absolute sensation this weekend in second position, Middleton in third, Knežević back to 4th, Moylan in 5th.
Through the Yamaha loop they go, which is what we'll call it at the moment. Nice and smooth out front, hanging off the bike. Different line to everyone else is Josh Newman there too. Will Nassif tucked in the slipstream. Interesting to see if he gets that drive pass down the straight. Casey Middleton's up there. Calvin Moylan, we know how fast those guys are. They got their first 1-2 earlier on today.
Well, start is under investigation. The advice coming through from race direction. So we will await further updates on any action that will be taken there. But at the moment, it is Newman, Nassif and Knežević that lead this race at the top of the hill. Now, back through the field, I heard a bit of a noise there, like someone may have gone down. There's no dust coming up. Mark Shaw, unfortunately, looks like he has gone down on lap number 1. Looks like he may have picked the machine up though, so we'll wait and see what's happening there. But it is still Newman with I think Knežević having a bit of a look up the inside of Will Nassif there. They've already had one little coming together this weekend. Good news is they are actually pretty good friends. So
weekend's not over yet.
In both aspects. But there's the Race DNA riders, Moylan and Middleton.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are the ones you need to watch because they seem to work as a team and work their way forward. And boy, they've already had 1-2 this weekend. Imagine if they could make it a double. They've got a lot of work to make it happen, but they do seem to get stronger as the race progresses.
So it is now Nassif into the lead as we see that move coming down. Here's a replay of the start on the Ducati replay down in towards turn 1. You can see Newman there straight up the inside. Jordy Simpson went to tip into the corner, and unfortunately there was a wet for you Kawasaki Ninja 400 right underneath him, and there was no way he could tip in.
Did you notice on that replay as well how Newman's front was nearly locking into that corner? It was like chirping for grip. He went in there so deep.
Also, too, you can clearly see now that the Race DNA riders, Moylan and Middleton, have caught right up onto the back of that lead group of 3 that had just broken away over the first lap or so of the race. Keep your eye behind him as well, because also won't be long until he's in this lead group is the man that's got pace at the moment, Jordy Simpson. He was actually faster than most of the riders in front of him on the last lap. The fastest rider on the first flying lap, though, was Knežević with a 107 flat. As they come across the line now to complete 3 laps.
Got some good news about that investigation of the start. It was deemed fair, so there are no jump starts.
So we're ready to go racing. We're on lap 4 of 10, so we're approaching half race distance. that Middleton or Moylan telling his teammates to just tuck in behind and we'll work our way forward. Well, I think that work's pretty much already done. That was Middleton signalling to Moylan.
Will Massive's got some decent speed, hasn't he? He's really flowing through the corners nicely, getting a good slip down the straight.
I'm not sure if it's the second half of the year that Massive's been on fire. It also seems to be about right on target for the amount of time he's been working with Damien Cudlin as his rider coach, and also preparing himself for riding a bit more on the R6 600 machine. So when he gets back onto the R3, so it almost feels like a bit of a toy. And I know that's something that Josh Newman does a fair bit as well. Jumps on board the Wetfuyu Kawasaki ZX6 and goes and does track days on it, so that when he gets back onto the Ninja 400, it feels a lot easier to throw around.
Oh, 100% it would. Newman looks up the inside again. Is he going to try that same move? And he does.
You can see the ferocity with which he was flipping the throttle there on the right handlebar as he came down into Pirelli corner and then went through those double modal corners. Oh, straight back up the inside. Will Massive, once again, the corner entry speed, Steve. You've mentioned it several times this weekend. The way he has so much confidence in the front end of that machine, hanging right off the bike with his elbow on the ground, is just absolutely unbelievable. I've seen it firsthand out there on track at a ride day at Sydney Motorsport Park, but to see it once again on television, you still just can't believe how confident he is in that front end.
You just have a look there on the Ducati replay, how these guys hang off the side of those bikes, use all of the track, not much left there, all the way out to the ripple strip, nothing in reserve. A great line there by Will Massive, leading the way at the moment. But is that one of the Casey Middleton now has moved his way right up behind him, working his way towards the front. Calvin Moylan having more trouble for the Western Australian, unfortunately.
Yeah, Moylan's trying to find his way past Geordie Simpson now, because Simpson was very aggressive on the last lap, as we see Middleton go into the lead. Taking the lead now from Will Massive.
But Nassif's good into the next one. You watch him, and there he goes, straight back up the inside.
Well, we said it in the first race, or the second race this morning, it was like a hot knife through butter. That's exactly what he did there. That was Middleton up the inside of Josh Newman down into Ducati corner on the Ducati replay. You can see how desperate he was to get down the inside, but at the same time, pretty smooth with all of that aggression that he was trying to keep in composure there.
Well, you wouldn't say that one particular rider's pulling away in this group, that's for sure. It's still pretty close. Will Nassif spent his fair share of the time at the front, but he's been sharing it.
Well, every time someone is able to put a move on Will Nassif, he's able to fight back immediately. That's been the key so far, as Moylan still trying to find a way past Geordie Simpson, with Newman dropping back now to fourth position. Exactly what we saw in the first race yesterday afternoon, though. Newman was happy to sit back there in fourth or fifth, and then through the last 2-3 laps of the race, charge forward. Well, it's about that time now, Josh, because we're on lap 7 of lap 10, so now is the time that you need to start charging your way back forward, because Will Nassif has tasted victory a couple of times this weekend in the Yamaha R3 Cup, and I'm pretty sure he wants to do it again in Supersport 300.
Oh, 100%. He's full of confidence at the moment. He's looking good. Did one of the Kawasaki's run wide there?
No, they're all still...
Oh, Newman's gone to the back of the group, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, and also Moylan was off the track coming down the hill out of the Ducati corner, or actually the Dunlop corner at the top of the hill there.
Yeah, so something happened on the way into the Honda corner there, but it didn't work out for Josh Newman, that's for sure, because he's moved back to the back of the pack now. Moylan's second back in that pack in 5th position. He's moved up a spot. Yeah, so I think that Josh Newman ran wide into Honda corner.
So it is still Nassif, Middleton and Knežević at the front. We come round to complete 7 laps now. They start to weave down the start-finish straight. This is where Valentino's been able to just get into the slipstream and then try and put in a possible out-braking manoeuvre into turn 1, but it is Middleton that goes down the inside.
You would think that Will Nassif would try a tighter entry to that corner, because every lap Middleton or Newman goes up the inside in that same spot. So if it was me, I'd think, well, I'll move over a bit, then try and tip in.
Is it conversely, though, too, he's willing to sacrifice a little bit there to get the run at the top where he's been so fast in
Well, Will
Alpine
Nassif got him into Alpine Stars last time anyway, didn't he? So got him back. That's where he got him back.
Down the bottom of the hill we come to Ducati, and he's Nassif back up the inside. Knežević thought about it, then had to get on the brakes. You can see just a bit of a bobble there from Valentino as he got to the bottom of the hill.
Tell you what,
desperate to try and get up the inside of Middleton.
it is very even at the front. No, there's no one with any particular extra speed being held up. This is just going to end up how it ends up.
Well, Jordy Simpson is now looking like he's very keen to try and find his way past Valentino. So the Simpsons are always very easy to pick out on track, the all-yellow machine of Jordy Simpson. You can almost see the smile of Jordy Simpson underneath the helmet as they come down through Pirelli now. There he goes, diving up the inside. Can he do 2 for 1? No, he'll have to just settle to go up to third with Valentino being relegated to fourth.
Well, the Simpsons like to go home with at least one trophy every weekend. Unfortunately, Ollie Simpson is not going home with one, so let's hope that Jordy can get on the podium and take home a trophy. Oh, big moment there for Will Nassif.
Remember in the race earlier this morning, had an exact moment in the exact same corner, Steve, with the foot off the peg, losing the front end. He's at a sign for Middleton now. Trying up the inside. Oh, it's a sign for Jordy Simpson to try and go up the inside of Middleton. Yep. Just had to pull out of that one at the last minute. And look, at the same time, Valentino's desperate to try and find his way past.
Well, we're getting towards the end of this one now, Phil. So these guys are really jostling for position. Like, you don't want to be where Josh Newman is right now if you're going to win this race. You need to be at least where Jordan Simpson is.
Well, last lap board comes out for our race leaders as they come across the start-finish line. 9 laps down. Fastest rider on the last lap was a 107.0 for Jordy Simpson.
There you go. That's a pretty impressive lap time for him. 106.5, quick lap for the fastest lap of the race, I think, for Jordy Simpson.
Yeah, well, actually a 106.9 for Josh Newman at the back of the pack.
Yeah.
So we've got 6 riders well and truly in contention here. Newman is up to 5th now. He's made his way past, is that Calvin Moylan at the back of this group.
Watch Middleton now as they head into that braking spot.
Oh, Middleton tries to go around the outside, tries to do the Hunter Corny move out wide and then cut back, but it didn't work for him. He's gone back to third place because Jordan Simpson is now up into second position. Can he put a move on Will Nassif coming down into the bowl section?
He's got a good run.
He's going to go around the outside.
He has.
Come up the inside. He's got the running on the inside, Jordy Simpson. Can he hold the tight line? No. Will Nassif goes around the outside. He's still going to be able to utilise the slipstream.
Oh.
They come out onto the straight. Into the slipstream goes Jordy Simpson. Out of the slipstream pulls Calvin Moylan. They almost touch the wall as they go past, and Will Nassif has taken the win. Jordy Simpson has finished in second place, and I've got no idea who finished in third. It was that close.
Yeah, that was so close. We got 5 guys, 6 guys within a second, Phil. That is pretty impressive stuff.
Here is a Ducati replay of this outrageous last sector, Steve. Down the inside was trying desperately Jordy Simpson to get through. Nassif came around the outside. At this stage, Middleton was in third and Knežević was in fourth. Yeah, Middleton had a good run out there, went for the inside. Simpson also went for the inside. Middleton had to back off. He wasn't too happy about it. It goes across the line. Knežević didn't back off either. And Nassif puts his hands up and says, I'll take that. Well, I think there's no doubt that Will Nassif has taken the win. The results will be provisional, and that will be Will Nassif taking the win, Jordy Simpson in second, Casey Middleton in third, and Valentino Knežević in fourth. 0.247 of a second is separating the top 4, with Calvin Moylan in 5th, Josh Newman in 6th, Harry Watts in 7th, Will Hunt in 8th, Tara Morrison 9th, and Ollie Short rounds out your top 10. 11th is Tom Nicholson, Hudson Air in 12th, and 13th is Oscar Lewis, Mark Shaw, Mitchell Cartwright takes the last point, and Jiao Zhao in 16th. I know that we always joke about how close together Ollie Short and Tom Nicholson are. 2 100ths of a second they finished apart in that race. I know, it's crazy. And also too, Steve, results have been confirmed by race control, with Will Nassif taking the win from Jordy Simpson, Casey Middleton and Valentino Knežević in 4th, Moylan in 5th. So the top 3, Will Nassif, Jordy Simpson and Casey Middleton, will be making their way to the podium. The championship points will now see Josh Newman heading to the final round with a 32-point championship lead over Valentino Knežević, with Harry Watts still holding down third position. There's JJ Nalas on hand to congratulate his good mate Will Nassif on his race win. Let's have a look at the AWF highlights What a great start it was for Will Nassif. But have a look at Josh Newman. From the second row of the grid, came flying through up the inside as they went through Pirelli and Motul, and made his intentions quite clear from the first corner that he was here to win.
Yeah, he certainly did. He gave Geordie Simpson plenty of work to do, didn't he? Because he was way back in the pack. Newman was looking pretty strong, as was Will Nassif. Casey Middleton and the Race DNA, both the Race DNA riders were strong and looked like they were going to make their way through to the front. Geordie had to work his way back, and he certainly gave it his best and got there, didn't he?
Well, he was back to 5th and 6th position at some stages in the race, but managed to work his way back through. You can see him there getting the better of Valentino Knežević up into 3rd position, and it wasn't long before he was making a bid for the lead. And it was on the final lap coming down into the final sector. He had the inside running, but Will Nassif just carried a greater amount of corner speed on a high, wide line and eventually came out of the final corner in the lead. As they all desperately tried to get to the line, in the end, they almost nearly ran into the wall. Nassif took the win. Geordie Simpson was 0.1 of a second behind, and Casey Middleton rounded out your top 3. They've made their way back to the podium to speak to Chris.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. I'm here with the podium for the Race and Road Supersport 300 Race 3 of the weekend, the second one we've had today. Casey Middleton, what a race, 3rd place, congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was a great race, real close. Yeah, just some good moves.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I had tons of fun.
Good. Well, it's great to see you, the winner, overall winner from this weekend, and we wish you all the best of the next round.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go, it's our 3rd place man, Casey Middleton. 2nd place, Geordie Simpson. This man's always got a smile on his face, so don't disappoint now, Geordie. Here you go, zip your leathers up. What a ride, 2nd place again. You've been impressive this weekend, well done.
Yeah, we've made a big step forward this weekend. Still trying to beat Will. He's been a bit of a pain in my butt, but yeah, we've got one more race to go on here, 300 the R3, so we'll go again in that and see if we can beat him in that one.
Oh, good luck.
Cheers for that.
You might need it, eh? There you go. That's our 2nd place man, Geordie Simpson. And like he said, a man that's won a lot of races this weekend, Will Nassif. Congratulations again.
Yeah, thanks heaps. I'm still so excited I even won that. I didn't want to sit behind anyone because I know once I get into fights, you just start going backwards. So every time anyone passed me, whether it was Josh with an insane turn 2 on that first lap, I had no idea where he came from, but a few people had to check up. But I think I led every single lap. But yeah, that was a great weekend. Also want to thank everyone who's helped out. Damo from Motorstars, JJ, Maurice, Tash, Dad, Pure Leathers again, Sport Boots. It's been a great weekend. Thank you, everyone.
Well, there you go, guys. The stars of the future, the Race and Road Supersport 300 podium finishes.
Well, thanks very much, Chris. Great to hear from the top 3. And Casey Middleton, congratulations on, I think that will be your first ever round win in the Supersport 300 category. Race and Road Supersport 300 championship points heading into the final round sees Josh Newman with a 32-point championship lead over Valentino Knežević in 2nd. Harry Watt still holds down 3rd position. Geordie Simpson in 4th. Will Nassif has charged into 5th position ahead of Calvin Moylan. Casey Middleton back there in 7th position as well. Plenty more action coming up here from One Raceway after this break.
Yes, thank you, guys. It's standing in the pit lane here. The wind is insane, I tell you. But I'm here with the Pirelli man, Gary Crilly. Gary, first of all, coming to a new racetrack this weekend. How's it been for you guys?
It's been a bit of a challenge, as we knew it was going to be. A brand new surface. We weren't able to test beforehand, so it was always going to be a challenge. We've progressed as we've gone through the weekend. We've pretty much solved all the issues we had Thursday, Friday. I think we're pretty right with Superbike. 600, we're still working on a solution for the front, but we made more improvements this morning, so I think we're a lot closer than what we were yesterday.
And is that setup changes, tyre adjustments? What can you do with the tyre? Do you change pressures much, or is it just letting the surface come to you as well?
A little bit of everything, really. Let the surface come to us. Geometry change on the bike, just change the balance a little bit, put a little bit more weight in the front, a little bit of tyre change, combination of a lot of things.
It is really good. I know you've got most of the field in Superbike and you've got the main contenders anyway, but in Supersport it's a tyre battle, so it keeps you on your toes, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%. You know, like Michelin do an awesome job this weekend. It changed from surface to surfaces. We were excellent at Phillip Island, and they're very good here. So we'll get through this weekend and then we'll move on to the Bend. I
laugh how you say you were excellent and they're going very good. So no, it's always the way it should be, Gary. But importantly, you guys do bring the most tyres to this series, and Steve Martin is down there to see what goes on and how tyres are actually put out into the riders.
Really have been an integral part of our paddocks for the last 10 years since we reinvented the ASBK. They bring over 400 tyres to an event like this, and over the course of the weekend they changed 400 to 500 tyres. That is a lot of tyres. How does that happen? Well, let me give you a bit of an idea. The teams will bring the wheels over to this rack here. They drop the wheels off here, then the Pirelli technicians grab them and bring them over here. Follow me. They head into the garage. Obviously this is all happening pretty quick because there's a bit of a time limit on this. They put them on this machine here, which is our tyre changing bead breaker. They break where the bead meets the rim. You can just see a bit of a demonstration there of one happening as we speak. They break that and get that off the rim. Then that wheel will be moved over onto this system right here, which is your tyre changing machine. And on the tyre changing machine here, this is where they take the old tyre off and put the new tyre on. You can already see that there's been a new tyre fitted here. So this one's ready to be blown up. They blow the tyre up there, put the pressure in it, then they move over here. Come and have a look here. This is the balancing station. We've got 4 balancers here. That just shows you an indication of how many wheels get balanced at once. You can see this guy here. He's just put a lead weight. I think they go through like 2 boxes of like 30 to 40 kilograms of weight. See how he's just taken that weight off, and it really does show the balance. See how without the weight on it does that? In any case, when that is absolutely perfect, he also gives it a spin to make sure there's no buckle in the wheel from any incidences on track. And then at that case, the wheel heads back out on the rack, the teams come back, grab the wheel, and away they go.
Well, we're getting ready for the final race on today's program. It is the third and final race for the Shop Yamaha R3 Cup.
And there is your grid. Jesse Stroud obviously won't be starting from pole, we don't think. Geordie Simpson from second, Valentino Knezovic from third. Will Nassif, watch out for him, he's always leads in the first turn. Will Hunt, fifth, sixth, John Pelgrave.
Yeah, hopefully John Pelgrave been able to get his bike back after that crash before. But Oscar Lewis, Hudson Air and Mark Shaw on row 3 with Tara Morrison, Alexander Cody and Tiao Hao Zhao on position number 12 in row 4. Elijah Andrew and Mitch Cartwright round out the field.
Yeah, good to see Tara Morrison burrowing an R3, so it's her first ever time in this class. So
she's also preparing for the International Cup at the end of the year, where she was one of the selected Australian riders to represent us both on the R3s and the R7s, and of course team leader none other than 3-time Australian champion Mike Jones, who just won the Pirelli Superbike race. As we get ready to go racing for the final time today, Simpson and Knezovic on the front row of the grid. R3 Cup is going to look like a pretty good start from everyone on the front row of the grid. Keep your eye on Will Hunt though, on board bike number 46. He's been a lightning starter all weekend. Tries to sneak down the inside of Valentino, can't quite get the job done. And it is Geordie Simpson on bike number 3 that will lead them through Motor Corner and up the hill for the first time.
Watch Will Nassif though, he's an absolute legend into this next left-hander. Can't do it, and it is Geordie Simpson who wants it badly. We heard that on the podium last time out. He was desperate to try and get a win this weekend, and he's shown his aggression early on.
Well, he's got the Toy Story helmet on for the final race of the day as well as they come down towards the bottom of the hill. Nassif, well, held out wide by Geordie Simpson there on the run down into Ducati corner for the first time. Great start once again from Will Hunt. Right behind William Hunt is Oscar Lewis on board bike number 56. Then it's Alexander Cody on 37. Hudson Air just getting the better of Cody as they came down the bottom of the hill. It's still Simpson holding them off, but it's very tightly packed at the front. And I think this is William Hunt's best first lap, Steve. Yes. He's up there in 4th position, hanging right onto the back of the lead trio, who have shown great pace all weekend.
Yeah, absolute brilliant ride from him this weekend.
So down into Motor Corner we go. And normal service in the R3 Cup has been resumed with Will Nassif putting on his traditional, well, not out-braking manoeuvre, but just rolling in way faster than everybody else into turns 1 and 2 on board bike number 65.
I look at his screen. He's got like seems to have like you're allowed to change the screen, but he's got like a bigger screen. Maybe it's a little bit more aerodynamic as well. A bigger screen than definitely Geordie Simpson.
Well, that's also because Will Nassif's probably about 6 foot tall these days.
Well, he is, but it will definitely make a difference to the aerodynamics and the speed of these things.
Also, probably the most aerodynamic of a lot of them would be Valentino back there in 3rd position.
Yeah, he's also got a big screen.
But Geordie Simpson is also getting very tall these days too, isn't he, Steve?
Yeah.
One thing that doesn't change about Geordie Simpson, though, is the continual smile on his face. Even when he was disappointed that he had to finish in second place for Will Nassif in the earlier race today, he was still smiling, and he's smiling now because he's pulling out of the slipstream and down into Pirelli corner, goes through to take up the running at the front.
The one thing I've noticed about all of these guys, their skill level is improving meeting by meeting. They're just getting faster and faster and better racecraft. I mean, look at that from Will Nassif. That's the Nassif move up the inside there. I think we'll call that from now on. He does it at least 3 times every lap.
So down the bottom of the hill, he's also been very strong, but so has Valentino. So Valentino looking to try and put a move on Simpson. Simpson tries to go up the inside of Nassif. No way through there. Been some big moves at the bottom of the hill there so far this weekend into Ducati corner. Also seen people setting up overtaking manoeuvres out of here very differently to what they used to at the old Wakefield Park because of the change down here at the bottom end of the track. No longer is that a little bit of a straight with a hard braking right-hand corner. You go left, then you go right through this massive bowl section and then left back out onto the straight. That is the most significant change of this circuit, isn't it?
No, absolutely. No, it is. The other corners have all changed a bit as well. That's been widened in spots. It's definitely wider and different here. One of the longest right-hand corners in Australia now, in my mind.
There's quite a few people out this weekend as well, but we're making our way up towards Tech Air 5 corner now. And Simpson back into the lead. And he's got the Toy Story helmet on, but he's hoping that it's going to be a fairy tale at the end of this one with his first victory of the weekend. Nassif straight down the inside. That one was expected.
And he holds it too. So much trust needed. That's quite a steep downhill there. You don't really see it on the screen, but if you actually come and walk the track or ride the circuit, it's very steep into that Ducati corner.
Well, and also, too, as you mentioned, that Will Nassif's sudden surge in form is probably also in line with the arrival as Damien Cudlin as his rider coach. So he's done the fastest lap of the race on lap 2, which was a 106.984. His last lap was a 107.698. So he's lapping about 0.8 of a second off his fastest lap of the race. We're over half race distance now. We're on lap 5. Bit of a gap back to William Hunt, who's still doing a great job in his best ever weekend on board the R3 machine. Then it's Hudson Air, Alexander Cody, and Oscar Lewis. That's these 3 riders here. The Alexander Cody with the great Yamaha traditional livery there. Always has a very well-presented bike. There's Alexander Cody.
Yeah, it does look spectacular, doesn't it? And his leathers to match as well.
Simpson still managing to hold off Knežević, who's now made his way up into... how was that manoeuvre from Valentino? He just rode around the outside of Geordie Simpson, out of Michelin corner, and down into Yamaha Brevjehart corner to take the lead.
I know, the frustrating thing about this class for me, though, is that by the time he gets to turn 1, he's going to have to do it all again because he's going to get slipstreamed. Here you go. If not a double slipstream. Will Nassif up the inside, Valentino leads, but bang, back to 3rd place.
Yep, the double slipstream, very, very important down the straight here. And as you mentioned in track preview, Steve, you seem to be able to carry a lot more corner speed through turns 1, 2, and 3 now to start the run up the hill. And that's clearly evident there with the flow. And everyone's spoken about the flow this weekend of the circuit is more flowy than it was before. So Nassif back into the lead. Simpson lining up a move at the bottom of Ducati. Can he come up the inside? Has he got the confidence in the front end? He has.
He's wide.
He runs a fraction wide, but I think he's still going to have the line as they come up towards Michelin. It's going to be very important. Oh, if he's on the inside, no. Nassif just was in the better track position as they ran into a Michelin on that occasion. Valentino's shown obvious pace in that part of the circuit as well, but he just doesn't seem to have an answer for them at other parts of the track. Of course, the new lap record that was set earlier on this weekend was a 106.713, so they're lapping about 0.2 of a second off the lap record pace set by Will Nassif.
Yeah, pretty impressive lap times though, 107s this late in the day, and it is Geordie Simpson who takes the lead. Now, has he woken up to what Will Nassif is going to do on the Alpine Stars corner, or is he just going to let him through? This time he's closed the line, and Will Nassif cannot make that move.
He's going to have to close the line at the bottom of Ducati as well, Steve, as we have a look at that run down the hill that starts right here now through that very fast right-hand corner.
Yeah, I would be closing that line off like way more than that.
So it looked like he was in a much shallower entry into Ducati corner on that occasion.
Especially on the last lap. If you close that line off, the people behind you also have to slow down. You know what I mean?
I reckon Nassif's now just sitting up, taking it a bit easy. He's going to utilise the slipstream as they come onto the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance start-finish straight to take the checkered flag. Oh, sorry, to get the last lap board. Then it will be the checkered flag. So last lap board is out, getting urged on by the pit crew on pit wall. So Nassif back into the lead, Simpson into second, Knežević just sitting there in third. Can he launch a last lap assault? Simpson not going to go up the inside at Tech Air corner. I think he's going to save himself to the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, I think that's probably his smartest move. But like if Nassif is smart, carries good corner speed through there, what he'll do is he's got to do what I said a couple of minutes ago. He's got to try and shut that line down and not let them go up the inside, which he's done. That's going to make it hard for these guys. But Valentino's got that inside run on Geordie and he's pushed him wide, but Geordie's got the inside line. It's going to come down to the entry to the bowl.
Well, we've seen how fast Valentino was here last time, but we also saw Geordie Simpson attempt an outrageous manoeuvre earlier on today. Is he going to try it again? No, he's not close enough. It is Will Nassif that has the running through the bowl for the final time. Geordie Simpson's got to use the slipstream now. He's got to get the run out of the final corner. And on the run to the line, they go over to the wall once again. Oh. And it is a repeat of what we saw earlier on today, with them going very close to the wall, with Will Nassif taking the win over Geordie Simpson. Valentino Knežević rounds out the podium with William Hunt in fourth position. So congratulations to Will Nassif, Jordan Simpson and Valentino. Will Hunt finishes in fourth position, Hudson Air in fifth. Cody, that would be his best finish so far, in sixth position. Tara Morrison in eighth, Mark Shaw in ninth, and Elijah Andrew rounds out the top 10. Congratulations to Will Nassif, takes that win by 0.123 of a second over Geordie Simpson and Valentino Knežević. Hunt in fourth, Air in fifth, Cody, Lewis, Morrison, Shaw and Andrew round out your top 10, with Zhao and Cartwright rounding out the field. So championship points is going to be very interesting now, with Valentino Knežević on 124, Will Nassif and Geordie Simpson tied on 111. It's time now to hear from our top three for the Shop Yamaha R3 Cup.
Well, Valentino Knežević, another podium for you. Still leading the R3 Cup. You must be pretty happy, but a pretty dramatic ending to the race.
Yeah, you know, that's our main goal, just to gain some points on Jesse. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to finish the rest of the races this Sunday, today, because he had a pretty bad crash at last turn. But, you know, huge congratulations to Geordie and Will. They're riding really well, and, yeah, props to them.
And, yeah, I suppose you're doing this will be a good fill-up for the last round.
Yeah, so we just got to stay consistent now at South Australia. You know, it wouldn't be possible without everyone here. You know, thanks to Mum and Dad, my family who drive lots of hours to come watch me, Moto City, my mechanic, Will, and all the fans who have sat out here in the freezing cold wind. They pushed through it and watched us battle out.
Well done, mate. We'll see you at the bend.
Perfect, thank you.
No worries. You move on to second position with Geordie Simpson. Never a dull moment out there, Geordie, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, that was some close. I whooped my ass, but yeah, we're getting closer. We're looking all right for the championship too, chasing down Valentino for the last round. We're going to my home track, so use that to my advantage and see where we end up.
All right, mate, all the best, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks at the Bend.
Cheers to that, Raxy.
No worries, as we move on to another winner. He's got that winning feeling that keeps coming back. Will Nassif, well done, matey.
Yeah, thank you very much. That race, my injuries started to catch up to me. I felt a bit stiff. I was getting a bit fatigued, but I managed to pull through. I knew I had to play this one a little bit smarter than the 300 Supersport. I couldn't lead every single lap, so I think I still led a good portion of it. But yeah, it was a great race. Geordie and Tino both put up a real good fight. Especially those moves into turn 2 by both Geordie and Tino went both right under me. But I managed to get them both back. But yeah, it was a great race. Big thanks to all the marshals and officials for helping out this weekend. Greatest weekend I've had so far. Big thanks to Damo from Motorstars, Dad, JJ, Maurice, Tash, everyone, Pure Leathers again, and Foodsport Boots. This has been a great weekend. Thank you, everyone, for coming out.
Well done. You're a sponsor's dream there. Well, back to you guys.
Well, thanks very much, Raxy. Great to hear from our top 3 there. Congratulations to Will Nassif. Yes, he does take the round win with 75 points. Jordan Simpson in second for the round and Valentino in third. But the Bend Motorsport Park, the 8th to the 10th of November, is where it's all going to come down to decide the championship winners across all classes. And of course, get your tickets to get to the Bend. If you can't get to the Bend, why not get to Darwin for MXGP? The first time an MXGP race has been held in Australia for 25 years, and that is on next year, the 19th to the 21st of September. It has been great to be back at One Raceway, the new spectator track of the nation. As the marshals worked hard this weekend, we've worked hard to bring you a great telecast of racing as well. Congratulations to all the winners.